What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. And today was an interesting day indeed. I was expecting a lot of chop today, and that's pretty much what we did. We had a lot of individual runners, and I do apologize, though, for those people who were playing mems today because all the mems pretty much died out today. Some of them held up, like your AMC and your GME. But the ones that were pumped, a lot of the lower cap stocks, the ones that were penny stocks, essentially, that had pumped yesterday, your Clove and I think of BlackBerry, there's a couple other ones did take quite a beating today. But being said, everything is essentially lining up for tomorrow, the CPI data that we're getting tomorrow, which will help us gauge inflation. So being said, that comes out at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So we will have that before the day even gets started tomorrow. So being said, I am not swinging anything but ASTI. My Tesla shares that I swung overnight, they luckily played out. They hit 610 today. I didn't quite get out at 610 today. Actually, I think it topped out at 611 today. And the pump this morning, I got out about 608, writing it from 601. So I did get out of all my shares there at that point. Being said, tomorrow's going to be interesting. I wanted to go into tomorrow fresh. If for some reason the data is bad, I don't think it's going to tank the market. I think there will be a pretty fancy wick to the downside. But being said, I think it will only be temporary, and I think we'll move up from that point. I think the real damage will essentially be done next week on the 15th and 16th if there is talks of tapering and if there's going to be actions upon that. Now, being said, leading into that point, tomorrow I don't think will be as bad. I think it will definitely push the market in a direction. The market's been trying to hit all-time highs, and it has really been struggling. It's barely been missing all-time highs, essentially by a couple cents here, and it keeps getting rejected pretty hard. So being said, we're playing range. Again, I was expecting this, and then we had a little bit of a sell-off towards the end of the day, which on some stocks, like your BYND, Airbnb, they broke support, and so at that point, some of those had a tough time getting over that support. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. If it is good data tomorrow, I do expect kind of a parabolic move to the upside. If that happens and we finally break all-time highs, I think we will start running. I think that will be short-lived. Again, coming into next week, I think we could possibly run tomorrow, Friday, and Monday, and then possibly even stall out mid-Monday, and then stall out until we get the Fed on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we got Mr. Powell on Wednesday. I believe he speaks. And from that point, I think we can continue on. If nothing is too terribly bad, or if tapering if Mr. P can play the same song and dance, I think everything will be perfectly okay. And we'll probably start moving up and see some bigger moves in tech. I know Tesla and a couple other big tech movers like Apple have been really wanting to go. You can definitely see the bullishness in those candles. Today, again, was anticipation for tomorrow. So everything was just looking very weak, low volume today. So being said, we'll definitely have to see what tomorrow brings. So SPY, I can go over SPY right now, but ultimately right now it is playing range, and tomorrow we really have to see where it's at. In my case, we might gap down to the 200 moving average or just go flat like we did today. QQQ, much the same, flat. I expect this tomorrow, flat. As soon as that data comes out, we're going to get a direction at that point. Again, if it's bad, I do expect a quick push to the downside. I don't think it's going to be anything dramatic. It could be somewhat dramatic just to test that 200. Which could actually pull a lot of big stocks down quite a bit if you're talking about QQQ here. But being said, I think we will rally very quickly if that does happen. Again, into Friday. Monday is kind of up in the air which direction we go from that point, but we'll definitely have to see we got Tesla, Shop, Airbnb, and TCAT. Now, the biggest reasons why I have these is because of the fact that I want to see if we do get good data tomorrow. I want to go with the leaders tomorrow is what I'm looking at. I think tomorrow it will be the leaders that are going to lead the pack, especially if we get good inflation or we get good numbers tomorrow. We could see your Tesla, Shop, your Apple, your Amazons, and all those start to rip. But I like these the best on the daily. TCAT, all of them on the daily, I think are still holding good support. So that's why I'm going with those. So the first one I do have is Tesla here. Now it did break down a little bit more. Like I said yesterday, I grabbed it when it held support here, swung it overnight, and it did test that 335 mark-ish today. 611.35. Sorry. So I did tag that, and I got out at that point. It was looking really weak when it got there. The market was looking weak, and so I didn't want to hold it. It was okay if it continued to run. I didn't want to be in it just because I didn't like the market sentiment changed really fast after the beginning pop. So being said, Tesla again, I wouldn't be surprised if we did come back down and try to test this 583 mark. On the daily, we've really been struggling to break out of this. We don't want to really give up that 595 mark tomorrow. But we would like to see, as long as we can hold above that, again, if we trade flat overnight to get some good data, I think Tesla has really got some room to make up. The buyers are definitely there. So are the sellers, but I think the sellers are just holding down on inflation data. So as soon as that does pass, I think the 8 a.m. passes, we get some good numbers. I think this can really fly from that point, because right now it looks like it's just retesting the wedge we got here on the daily. To start trying to push back up. I'm not saying all-time highs with Tesla, but at least possibly try to retest 700 maybe. We definitely have a lot of resistance on the top side for Tesla. Now, Shop again on the daily looks pretty good, in my opinion. All the support's right underneath. Again, I want to see what tomorrow brings. Maybe we pop down to the 1206 mark. I would really like that if it did do that. It's sitting pretty close to it right now. But again, if it does come back into the zone, I want to pick that up tomorrow and play that as well. Again, if everything is good, if we're flat, we get that data and we start pushing up. If it does break back over the 1224 mark, break over the middle Bollinger Band, I definitely want to get into it because I think it's going to start really making a run for it. And I think tomorrow will be a big day, especially if we get good numbers on everything. Apple again, sideways like everything else. I think, again, good data. It's playing range. I think we might get a tag of this zone at the 126.29 mark. If we do sell off, I think we'll hold here. I think ultimately, if there's any bad data, we'll go back into this range, in the bottom side of this range. And then I think later in the day, we'll push up, and then leading into next week, I think, again, Monday we might have to do some stalling, stuff like that, and then go from that at that point. But I do like Apple for tomorrow. And the other one I do have is TCAT. TCAT is NFT play. It did break out of the wedge. It's been holding this. I've thought about getting in a couple different times because it was consolidating quite a bit. But today we had that parabolic move. Now we're retesting. Let me show you what this looks like on the daily. So on the daily, we broke this. So we definitely want to retest this wedge and see how high we can go. 74, in my mind, is very doubtful, maybe 40 at this point, but it really depends on the volume and everything. It did get rejected if you're going off the 1 hour. But we're going to have to see how that plays out ultimately tomorrow. On the daily, it still looks good. So ultimately, if we can break back above this, we definitely want to break out of this 2374 mark. If we can get a candle above this and hold, something I want to look at, especially if we start catching momentum tomorrow, I think this could be a good one for a good long hold. But that's essentially what I got. Tonight's episode is essentially more so based off of what the numbers, the CPI data we're going to get tomorrow on inflation. I think is going to be important from that point forward. I think you definitely get some direction for the remainder of the week. And then at that point, we'll be waiting for the Fed next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. So before you forget, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And until next time, guys, I will see you guys later.